Let's face it, we all want to know if our narcissist can change. It's one of the most frequently asked questions by those who are stuck in a relationship with a narcissist. Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel on narcissism. It's my hope that the content on this channel will help you make sense of these difficult relationships, people, and situations, and help you cope better with the fallout of these relationships. And please subscribe to this channel to get notified every time a new video is posted. Can narcissists change? Is it possible for them to become better people? The answer is yes. But then follow-up questions arise. Do they want to change? Are they willing to do the work? Will they get better at empathy, or will they just learn to manage their empathy? While there's no way to predict whether a narcissistic person will change, what we do know is that change is always possible. There's a big difference between wanting to be different and actually changing. Many narcissists want to look like empathetic people because they want the benefits of being liked, admired, and accepted. But they don't really want to change. They don't want to change their thinking patterns or their defensive responses or their entitlement. That's not change. That's acting. Some narcissists might be able to change if they're motivated to do so, such as when it would benefit them to appear more empathetic at work. Then they may take some classes, read some books, or attend workshops to learn about empathy and how to fake it. But they won't change internally. They may even learn some behaviors that make them seem more empathetic. But when they get home, they're likely to go back to their old ways of interacting with family members. They might have even learned how to fake empathy with family members, but it's not real empathy. In order for a narcissistic person to change, they must first acknowledge that they have issues. Many narcissists think they're fine, and it's everyone else that has problems. A narcissistic person has to want to change. It's not something that can be forced on them. A narcissistic person has to come to that decision on their own. Sometimes a narcissistic person comes to the realization that they need to change because they're no longer getting the admiration and attention they once got. This happens often in midlife when the narcissistic person realizes that they are aging and their looks or their achievements are not as impressive as before. Or maybe their kids have rejected them or they're losing status in the community. In any case, if a narcissistic person suddenly decides that they want to change, it's safe to assume that they're doing it for themselves and not for anyone else. If a narcissistic person does decide to change, they'll have to find a therapist who can hold up a mirror and show them who they are, what they're doing, and why it's not working. And the narcissist will have to be willing to look in that mirror and see themselves clearly. They'll have to do the work required to change, which means digging deep into themselves to understand why they think the way they do, why they feel the way they do, and why they behave the way they do. And it's likely that much of their inner world is unacceptable to them, so they may avoid looking there. If they do avoid looking there, they won't change. But if they're willing to go there, if they're willing to face that unacceptable stuff, then they can change. Most narcissists aren't willing to do that kind of work. It's too painful and it makes them feel vulnerable. But the willingness to do that kind of work is key to change. Most narcissists aren't willing to do that kind of work. It's too painful and it makes them feel vulnerable. But the willingness to do that kind of work is key to change. Some narcissists do change, but not all of them. When they do change, they're often no longer recognizable as the same person. They may lose their entitled and arrogant edge. They may begin to care about how their behavior affects others. They may stop blaming other people for their mistakes and start taking responsibility for their actions. They may even apologize for their bad behavior. If this happens to a narcissistic person in your life, you may wonder if this is the real them, the authentic them. Probably not. This is a new person who has grown out of the shell of the narcissistic person that they used to be. When a narcissistic person changes, there's usually an explanation for the change. Perhaps they had a psychotic break and spent time in a mental institution. Maybe they were in a severe car accident that killed or injured other people. Maybe they had a major health scare that made them realize how precious life is. Maybe they lost everything in a major financial scandal and had to rebuild their lives from scratch. Maybe they retired and no longer have the status that they once had. Whatever the reason for the change, it's usually tied to a major event or a major turning point in their lives. Here's the bottom line. You can't count on a narcissistic person changing. If they do change, it will be a bonus. Don't hold your breath waiting for them to change. Instead, focus on what you need to do for yourself. Here are 5 steps you can take to recover from living with a narcissist. No. 1. Accept that the narcissistic person in your life isn't going to change. Stop hoping for change and start accepting the reality of the situation. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It just means acknowledging the truth of the situation. Once you accept the reality of the situation, you can start making plans for the future. You can start setting boundaries and making changes in your own life to protect yourself from the narcissist. Step 2. Set healthy boundaries with the narcissistic person. This may be hard to do, especially if you're used to people pleasing or being taken advantage of. But it's important to remember that you deserve to be treated with respect. Start by setting small goals for yourself, like not arguing with the narcissist or not letting them control your emotions. As you get better at setting boundaries, you can start setting bigger goals. 3. Educate yourself about narcissism. One of the best ways to recover from living with a narcissist is to learn as much as you can about narcissism. The more you understand about narcissism, the better equipped you'll be to deal with the narcissist in your life. You'll also start to see that the narcissist isn't really interested in changing and that you can't force them to change. 4. Find support outside of the relationship with the narcissist. It's important to have people in your life who you can talk to about your experiences with the narcissist. This could be friends, family members, or even a therapist. Having people to listen to your stories and offer support can be incredibly helpful. It's also important to find online communities where you can connect with other people who are going through similar experiences. And number 5, take care of yourself. It's easy to get caught up in the drama of a relationship with a narcissist and forget to take care of yourself. But it's important to remember that you're the most important person in your life. Make sure to get enough sleep, eat healthy foods, exercise, and do things that you enjoy. Taking care of yourself will help you be stronger and better equipped to deal with the challenges that come up in your relationship with the narcissist. Healing from a relationship with a narcissist takes time, but it's possible. By following these 5 steps, you can start to heal and move on with your life. Remember that you're not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. Reach out to them and let them support you as you heal. Thanks again.